with Accountdads living life in the black. Run through the chaos, never looking back. Real as one mission, leading with heart. In finance and fatherhood, they play every part. Oh, no.
Welcome to the Ash, Hubert and Kevin pod, everybody. We are the Accountdads, the podcast for the finance and accounting leaders, strategizers, thinkers and doers. Lads, welcome back. How are we doing?
Good, mate. Yeah.
Good. That's good. Got a question for you. A bit of an icebreaker to loosen you guys up. Ash, we went camping on January.
Yep.
Hubert didn't come because he's scared.
Yeah, not after our last camping trip. never again.
If you had to create a family budget for an all-out weekend adventure with your kids, what's one thing you would splurge on and why?
What, in terms of memories or like just doing anything?
Mate, I asked a question. Is your adventure?
An unlimited budget? Or is it like an Ash budget?
Unlimited budget. Yeah, unlimited budget on one thing. So you could only tap your card once.
Could be an all-inclusive.
Yeah. Well, if that's what you want.
Yeah. No, so
I mean, yeah, if it was me right now, there's those, kids parks where, like your Crocs or something like that. Like that's where he's going to enjoy that. So we're taking some of theirs, spending the whole
Hey,
day.
you have a weekend adventure.
I was going to say,
you tap your card on a $12.50.
Are you saying like? Are you saying where you want to go for a whole weekend?
No,
Like
you have a whole weekend. You can tap your card once.
What else is there?
I'd probably do like another Disney cruise style thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be because that was good
better
with the
than
kids.
Crocs.
This guy goes to Crocs.
Bro, that's my son enjoys it.
Shout out to Crocs, our main sponsor for today.
Should have said lollipops just to piss it off. No, so I think like a good like kids cruise, like Disney cruise was good for that one as well. So yeah, it was awesome. Like lots of entertainment, food is there. Like it was real good for the weekend. Yeah,
that's a much better answer.
Kev, what would you do?
I would think I like the whole tent camping experience. I reckon I would tap my card on a glamping, some type of outdoor experience with the kids.
Nice.
Hopefully everything else is included in it, but I think just being outdoors was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, wasn't it? Seeing all the kids around, sun running around.
Real good. Yeah, and
it feels like ages ago now, but
yeah, but it's some good core memories, right? So like having all those like gazebos stuck together, playing cricket.
That's right.
And nice. Good times.
Tell you what, my one takeaway from that trip was don't drink the red wine Ash gives you on night one. I was freaking dusty on the day two, man.
One glass.
I couldn't wait to go to bed when I woke up.
That's you every trip.
Mate, we cooked like he had like a. What did you have? The lamb? Was it pressure cooked lamb for you? Like the
what
soup?
you cooked? Yeah.
I had the like the slow cooked chicken drumsticks for like 7 hours.
Yeah.
So all the bone, like the bone was actually coming off the thing, but it made it so spicy that it was like almost intolerable.
Yeah. That was good. Enjoyed it. We'll take Hubert next time.
Mate, fun times.
Yeah. You can try convince me.
Mate, it's actually everyone else is going Hubert. Come on.
I slept on a proper like double. Was a queen mattress, double height bed, all inflated.
What sort of tent you guys bring?
It was good, bro.
Yeah, it was like luxury.
Yeah, it was.
Like
There was no last trip experience, and I think because you have wife and kids as well, you want to make sure that you're putting in a bit of effort.
What did you buy new tents for this?
I got a second-hand tent. Yeah.
Okay.
This guy got a second hand. It's like I can't say those words now on this podcast, but it was this industrial sized tent. Like his one, you could fit it wasn't just like a small 2-person tent. It felt like a 2-bedroom tent, right?
Yeah, I could stand in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the one that Abishal brought last time.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like this canvas material. It's intense. Like everyone had intense tents.
Yeah. But only because we wanted to have a comfortable time, which is good because it rained.
Yeah.
One of the nights pretty heavily, but we were all pretty dry. So
I think
that's something we talk about our first camping trip, one episode later on.
Yeah.
I think Shaz's tent was like the smaller ones, like you had to crawl into. Everyone else you could like stand and like walk directly into, walk out.
Man, you guys went all out there.
Yeah.
We'll show you photos later.
No, good times.
Guys, I was at a business buying workshop recently and the presenter put me on the spot. So this is kind of the little tidbits and advice we give our listeners, and these are the types of things that help you follow the channel and subscribe to us if you like it. But I was at this business buying workshop. Presenter put me on the spot. We were going through a bit of a workshop where he was taking us through how you approach the buyer. And he was essentially saying, look, the buyer will try and suss you out if you own a business like this before. But if you haven't, you're essentially trying to lean into your professional experience. And he said, all right, let's do a bit of an exercise. Kevin, you're an accountant. Tell me, Kevin, you don't have any experience in this industry. What do you do? What do you do for your work? And I told him what I did. He's like, oh, I don't understand what that is. Tell me what you do. And I gave him a big corporate-y jargon about what I did. I'm pretty sure I said optimize, I said efficiencies, I said all the buzzwords that you could. And he was like, mate, I don't understand what the F you just told me. And he's like, neither will the guy that's about to sell his business. You need to talk about your job in layman's terms that makes it easy for, a kid to understand. Which made me think, we tend to use some of these corporate words when we describe our professions. And I think also when people ask us sometimes what we do, we dumb down or we kind of embarrassingly say we're accountants or we're finance people. I don't know. Do you guys have that? You're kind of like, oh, I'm an accountant.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah. But it's almost like, because we're not just accountants, right? But you don't want to go that step further. But then you say you're an accountant, you're opening yourself up to, oh, can you do my taxes?
Yeah, that's the first thing I always get.
Yeah.
It's like, can you do my taxes? Like, bro.
Yeah. I remember I was with a bunch of lawyers once, and one of the law guys was like, can you do my taxes? I'm like, nah, I'm actually really terrible at taxes. Like, what kind of accountant are you? And I was like, mate, it's freaking stupid. But 2 call to actions. Firstly, I think it's good for our listeners and all of us to have a good sentence about what we actually do in our roles in simple English or simple language. And the second thing is to say what we do with a bit of pride. Would you guys agree?
Sounds good.
That's our motivation for today.
Have you got a polished version of that example now?
No, I don't. I was actually meant to write it. I was actually meant to write it out. I actually can't. I need to think through what I say. I mean, I've been saying, help businesses with their numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, their numbers are what? So.
Wow. Deep. Should use a tool for it. Use one of your AI tools and try to summarize it one day.
Maybe.
Shove your CV in and come back and say, write me my elevator pitch.
Maybe for next episode. All right, guys. Hubert, what are we doing with this industry accounting deep dive?
So we're going to look into buying a gym. So I think we're talking about this, how looking at an example where there's a gym that's for sale potentially, and we're going to go into a deep dive of what we do when it comes to when we're going to either buy the gym, how we manage the gym, and then potentially even sell the gym later on. So what we're going to talk about is go into detail about those 3 levels. And so that's going to be our discussions for the next few episodes. And so this episode we look into the buying the business. So in this case, like I said, we're looking into a gym. What are the characteristics that we look for? And let's go into it.
Nice. And it's good intro, Hubert, because what we're trying to do is help not just business owners, but accountants as well, understand their financials, because you don't just want to go in and, as an accountant, do your role, enter journals. We want to understand the different life cycle stages of a business. And in order to do that, we need to understand kind of the start stage, which is the buying, the middle stage, which is the managing, and the sales stage as well. So we're going to start off with the gym industry. Are these industry? Fitness industry, that's what they're called. We're going to have a bit of a deep dive into these financial statements that we've gotten, which we won't share the name of, but essentially it's a local business on sale. We thought it'd be a good exercise for us to kind of dive through the numbers and understand it a bit more for ourselves. So let's kick it off. Firstly, why would someone buy a gym?
Well, for someone like me, it's a good industry to go to. I personally like going to the gym. I think it's, something that's a membership-based organisation. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take too much to run, in my view anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, same with me. Like, I think when I was younger, gym was one of my favourite places to go to, and it's something that if I was to start a business, the gym would be something I'd love to do. So, yeah, definitely got interest in that.
Yeah. So that's actually a good point. buy a business which you're understand or you're kind of interested in, because if you don't understand it or if you don't have interest in it, it's going to be a hard slog. Cool. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to essentially look at this gym, its P&L quickly, try and understand it for ourselves, and then we'll talk about a few things around things that stand out. We'll talk about some of the things that are red flags, and maybe we'll talk about some of the advantages and problems of buying a gym as well. Sounds good?
Let's do it.
Cool. So we're looking at the profit and loss statement of this particular gym based here in Sydney. So we can see here, have you guys got the same thing that I have?
Are you using the management accounts or the financial accounts?
I think you're the same one as me.
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, you're using the other one. He's gone straight to the audited accounts.
Yeah.
Smart bloke.
Classic. So this is the first step. There's usually 2 sets of accounts, just like every good Melbourne Storm supporter will tell you. But no, there's usually the management accounts and there's usually an audited accounts, just because usually the management accounts are a bit more operational and easier to understand for the business owners, whereas the audited accounts are a bit more statutory setup and are a bit more aligned with your accounting standards. Cool. So profit and loss statement, we're looking here. What can you guys see in terms of revenue? It's really shot up, hasn't it?
Yeah, bloody hell. What, 21, 22? Is that COVID impact?
Oh, yeah, it's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, lockdowns.
So
We assume this company has been operating for 4 years. Is that right? For this, just
yeah, I think it's been purchased 4 years ago. These guys took over this gym 4 years ago, and it's kind of, I mean, that's a great point around COVID affecting it. So revenue's really shot up there in the last couple of years. I actually did a bit of maths. So 760K, you kind of firstly, if you don't have the operational data around, you try and work out how many for a gym members that is.
Yep.
So I think this was around 580, 590 members at $25 per week. And so you're automatically thinking, all right, how much would I need to increase this to, after you go through your whole P&L when you're planning it out, in order to remain profitable, in order to grow, in order to, be cash flow positive, those kind of questions. So that's a good first lens. Cost of goods sold. Now, what would a gym have that's goods? Cost of goods.
I guess if they're selling something in the main reception, like protein powders, I guess towels, that kind of stuff, they would sell some of those things as well, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that would form part of your COGS.
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of what I'm thinking COGS are.
Yeah.
In my experience going to gyms, whatever they sell on the front desk.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's 25 grand worth. Is that? Yeah, it sounds about right? So, yeah.
Because I think most gyms, they sort of sell socks,
General
towels,
merch. Yeah, general merch.
Yeah.
things like that as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything else in mind for that one?
No, I think that was it. About 2K per month of merch and protein powders and things like that.
Yeah.
Vending machine stuff, maybe.
Yeah. Drinks is a good one. Yeah, there would be a lot of drinks there.
Yeah. Cool. Operating expenses. So no government grants in this. Now, the real, I guess, part of the business for running a gym or buying a gym is understanding their operating expenses. Advertising and marketing. So we'll just go through the big ticket items here. If you think about running a gym, what do you need? You need equipment. You need
members.
You need to have the gym clean and kind of serviced regularly.
And you need a good location.
Yeah, you need a good location. So that's what this got. We can see rent here at, what is it, 12K per month or something?
Yeah. So 12K a month, that'd be a decent sized gym then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be decent.
Because the gyms can be, you can have like a little warehouse gym to like a complete like factory sized gym as well, right? So there's different sizes of gyms as well.
Yeah.
Is it 12K or 20K? 240K, right?
Oh, it's 240. Yep. So,
Yeah, 20.
your maths is better than me, bro.
It's like, what the heck? I was like, so 20K per month out.
I don't do
straight
public math.
I was sitting there on a spreadsheet before. I'm like, wait, what? This guy was like, all right. So 20K per month, that's good coin there straight away, right?
Yeah.
So just to cover that in membership, so you're $25 per week per member. You can break those costs down, right?
Yeah.
So how much,
Because you consider that a fixed cost as well.
That's right.
So that needs to be covered.
Yeah.
And then,
And that's gone up year on year, right? So obviously there might have been some relief or they may have changed facilities, but from 218,000, there's a CPI increment as well, right? So
Yeah.
be
So
mindful.
good first step on that as well. Look at your lease agreements. Look at how long the lease terms are, if that's going to expire, what the next, because, that might be a 15% increase in the next renewal, and you don't want to be signing up to that.
And it looks like here as well, when these guys got the gym, they did spend a bit of work fixing it up as well.
Yeah.
You got architect, contract work. So I guess that's another cost, that upfront cost when it comes to when you're opening a gym up. It's going to be, a bit of work, making it pretty, get some equipment. So yeah.
Is that fit out here somewhere or? Where
I'm assuming it's the architect design and contract work.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's sitting in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
When they actually set it up first up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Good
Because
pickup.
there's usually a make good as well, isn't it? When you get a
Yeah,
lease,
you
you gotta
should-
return
yeah,
it back
like
to
a make good provision.
Yeah.
Tell us what a make good is, Ash?
It's basically you got to return the premise that you are leasing out back to its original state that you got it in. So even if you fit it out with everything, you need to bring it back to its original spec after. So
So usually it's good to provision that cost in there as well.
yeah, spot on.
Cool. Next biggest ticket item is your staff, I guess. We've got wages and salaries and subcontractors.
Just on those accounts, are these accounts, do you think they're accrual accounts or they're cash-based accounts?
Would have to assume they're accruals.
A bit accruals?
What makes you think they're cash based?
I don't know. It just seems like there's no profit smoothing or no cost smoothing. So
I was thinking
it sort of jumps around. So
if they're paying $2,500 for an accountant across a year, I reckon this is just all bank transactions mapped to accounts.
Possibly.
yeah, because even like uniforms, like just sort of spikes and then nothing else.
Yeah.
So there's no real smoothing of the expense.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something to look for as well when you're looking into business, whether how they do their accounting.
Yeah.
Is it cash-based accounting or is it accrual-based accounting?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great point.
So what you're talking right now about subcontractors like row 483? Is that right?
483, 484, and 477.
Overseas subcontracted telemarketing. That's ridiculous. Nothing more annoying than getting this kind of course. You want to join my gym? No, not really.
I reckon telemarketing. So just call up and
A cold call bloody your list. Like, mate, ridiculous.
do you want to join our gym?
Yeah. Well, do you guys think that's a smart way to bloody spending money, especially when they've got advertising and marketing up the top
Yeah.
of 30 grand?
So 42K
Boy.
in 2024 in marketing.
Yeah. But that telemarketing one, that's a...
Well,
Unless, yeah.
Well, I guess then you can see the direction they're sort of looking at. Instead of increasing membership fees, increase membership numbers.
Yeah.
So you can see that sort of direction they're probably heading in. So try to get as much. And it's not just cold calling as well. Like say someone put interest on your website or whatever.
Yeah.
They haven't signed up yet. They're the guys you want to keep hassling and be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
join.
Yeah.
So that's probably what they're trying to
Yeah.
do.
Has that ever worked for you, but?
It just annoys me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it works for some people.
Oh, mate. All right. Carry on.
Subcontractors probably, I'd say, like personal trainers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get those agreements, isn't it? Like, as in, like, it'd be good to get an agreement of like how the gym's paying them versus like what are they meant to do for the gym? Like, are they're trying to bring more members in as part of the agreement, or is there some sort of balance, right? Because they're making money off that as well, right? So through their PT sessions and whatnot. So
because I guess this is where it's important, especially with the gym. You got to look at what their target market is as well, because there's so many different types of gyms out there as well. So you got to really look into who their target market is, how big that market's in that area, because then that's what's going to really see how successful this gym's going to be. Because also competitors in the area, because if you got a gym the exact same model as another gym right next to each other,
Yeah.
you're asking for trouble there.
Yeah.
So you really got to see what niche this gym has compared to everyone else. So whether it's a 24/7 gym, it's we've got a lot more classes, a lot more personal trainers. That's the sort of stuff you should be looking at as well. What sort of gym this is.
Yeah. That's a good point you raised, Hubert, around competitors. I think even before these financials, it's trying to understand the landscape of where this gym is, who's around. Like there's two issues. One is a gym in the middle of nowhere that is going to be ages for people to get to, or it's not very dense in terms of demographics. The second is too much competition around them. So if there's heaps of gyms around them, or even just one gym next to them, that's usually a bit of an issue where you're trying to compete with, particularly if it's a larger brand. So that's a great point.
And even parking as well.
Yeah, parking's a hassle, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you want a nice location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to
a good amount of parking.
Yeah, I used to go to gym in Westfield back in the day, and that was like chaos Thursday nights.
Was that Gold's?
Was
World Gym or something? Good life. Yeah.
So it's just chaos. There's Thursday nights. You got everyone else shopping. Like, man.
Yeah.
So with subbies, like, basically, we also got to figure out if they're treated like regular employees, right? Like, as in, are we still paying workers' comp and everything else for them as well, just to make sure that's under the legal stuff.
That all comes down to how the hours, how they work and stuff, isn't it?
Correct.
Like whether it's set hours or whether it is sort of random.
Yeah.
And that, so even if, they're not really, because they're not even casual employees, but contractors can be classed as employees depending on how they're employed. That's right. So you have to be careful with those things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it odd that wages and salaries have dropped from 125K to 55K?
Is it the owner just like trying to pay himself, or you reckon? Or just he's probably just trying to make the numbers look a bit better. Yeah.
Or maybe you had people in, maybe he's getting a prime to sale. We'll talk about this in our sale episode.
Where's the salary gone? Gone.
Or maybe he's scaled down and, he's obviously, there's nothing in here about, I guess we don't have the balance sheet and...
The other one is when gyms become 24 hours, they're unmanned for a certain time. And so let's say he's figured out a routine where it doesn't need to be manned as long now because he's figured out like how you can pay camera people to just do that stuff. So I've seen heaps of gyms now, there's no one there. Yeah. Unless you just swipe your little fob thing and then off you go, right? So
Swipe your fob. Imagine a fob swiping a fob.
Swipe my curve is what I should say.
Nice.
Well, I guess with those sort of gyms, you expect your insurance to go up as well. Has it gone up here? No, it stayed the same. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the rationale?
It's like an unmanned gym. That's sort of like, you I think you'll be increasing the risk of
you sign
damage and stuff.
You sign a huge waiver of
true. You probably claim back from the from the member.
17 grand of insurance. It's not like it's not cheap.
No, it's not.
We'll go to the balance sheet in a second, but lease, I'm presuming that's lease costs for equipment.
Yeah.
So it's not that much, but important to know that some of the equipment's not yours.
Yeah.
And you'll probably outline that in your assets and liabilities. Cleaning, obviously important for a gym, but fair expense there as well. Anything else that stands out, guys?
The lighting, power, heating is excessive. 40 grand.
No, I mean, if you're a 24/7 gym, it's on.
Get some solar panels, mate.
Just a side note, I went to a gym in India and the light was never on. And if you needed to, get the light on, people come and just work out in the dark, but if they need a light on, each section has a light. They'll turn it on, but people just felt so bad that I literally just worked out in the dark the whole time during the daytime, but still. So maybe that's the model to save money. Cool. So off the back of that, profit 61K in 2023, doubled and more in 2024, which looks good on the surface.
Yeah, that's just the salaries and wages coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
And a bit more revenue.
Yeah. So usually off the back of this, I mean, we don't want to go into valuations and stuff because we're not M&A experts, but usually it's a multiple of your profit or there's other factors in there as well. But I think it's also good, lads. Well, this is why we're accountants, is off the back of this profit and loss statement to look at the balance sheet. And the balance sheets are good because usually that's where some of the stuff sometimes are hidden, or you get a true sense of, I guess when you overlay this with a P&L as well, is how cash goes in and out and how a bank balance increases, and if a business is cash positive or cash negative. And, you know, straight away, kind of scanning the financial statements, you can see a couple of things. Cash has gone down. They own some of the equipment. They lease some of the equipment. Geez, they've got a fair AP bill.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How do you get it that high? If it's a direct debit, mate. What the heck?
Yeah, so it's a fairly large amount there.
No, that's what they owe people.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What have they got?
they racked up a bit of a bill here,
Yeah, what have they got?
and you can see like there's not much cash, so they can't really pay it off as well.
They
Yeah.
got directors' loans. Ooh.
Yeah. This is common. Usually you see with some of these small businesses just heaps of ins and outs with loans. One of the things usually when you buy a business is one of the terms you can agree to is either all the loans are cleared out or it's an asset sale. So when you get an asset sale, you essentially don't inherit any of the liabilities. You'll know more, Hubert. You're the technical expert. You don't inherit any of the liabilities, and, you know, all these accounts payable and stuff sits with the original ABN, and you're essentially just taking over things like the equipment. You could take over the lease. You could take over potentially the IP, the brand name, and that's it. Everything else stays with the original ABN. So there's a couple of ways you can structure this so that you don't get bitten.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys see?
What, the BMW? All right, buddy. Current year earnings.
So they're saying, in the management reports, they're saying they're making a profit, but then the current year earnings in the balance sheet is a massive loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to know what went from current to non-current, like, in terms of accounts payable. Like, is there something that triggered that huge, like, what's creating that accounts payable number? Like,
Yeah.
Go up, like,
I just think because it looks like they don't have much cash, so they still got to buy stuff, but they just can't pay it back. So that's what's sort of happening here, which is a bit of a red flag there as well.
Yeah.
And then you can see they're relying on loans to pay money, but they still haven't got enough to pay that AP balance.
Yeah. A decent chunk in loans, a decent chunk in AP. So either this is someone that couldn't manage the cash flow of the business well, or the business model's poor, or maybe the business just can't survive because of the location, because of the people around. There's a couple of other factors that could play in there as well. So,
like, on a given sales component, we assume that all that's collectible, right? They had, 760,000 in their
Revenue.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So let's say that's all. We collect all that in cash.
Yeah.
Because it looks like there's no accounts receivable. So
Yeah. So it'll all be
no one owes
cash
money.
received. Yeah.
That's right. So that part's good, but it's all the rest of the stuff they're just struggling with.
Yeah. So, boys, if you saw this, what are a couple of what do we say, advantages of buying a business like this? So, like, straight away you could probably think about discount pricing and stuff, but what are the advantages of looking at something like this and gyms in general, and what are the problems you see in something like this, and would this be something that you would potentially consider should you have the money?
In terms of advantages, it's already a established business.
Yeah.
So we come in, we can obviously interpret the numbers and interrogate them in a bit of a different way. There looks like there's things we could easily fix, like just perhaps by just deeper diving into a bit of those numbers, seeing what else we can control. So I think that's a good sign. So just asking those questions of, like, what's driving that accounts payable balance, what's driving some of those, high expenses,
Yeah.
and is there ways to control it? Then that would determine your pricing, right? In the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
that's what I'd be looking at, first of all. Hubert?
Yeah, because one thing I think we're valuable in this sort of business is, like I said, you got about 600 members here that data behind those members is quite valuable as well.
Mm.
So, you know, you already got 60 people that you sort of already on the hook. Make sure you can make, you know, it's got to see how they use the gym. I guess that's where, you know, data analytics comes into it, where how they use it, when they use it, keep them happy, but also then start looking at expanding that member base. So I guess you got a good data set there as well, because if you start fresh, then you pretty much get members. You have to start again with no members, right? So you already started with a good set of data there, and that's worth something as well.
Yeah.
And then finally, the equipment, like the age of the equipment and everything else, I'd be just spending a bit of time on that, because with a gym, if your equipment's garbage, like you have to replace everything again. That's gonna be another big bill coming through. So just be going ahead and just double checking all that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah,
because you got to either get into another lease, or you're going to be paying big on capital.
Yeah, that's right. So
There's usually I mean, we'll go to if you guys would buy this in a second, but there's usually ways you could think about cutting down stuff straight away. So I mean, there's not much in this without actually going to the gym, but things like rent is high, so you could sublease parts of your gym if it's not being used to other types of, you know, fitness related activities, or I'm thinking pop a bit out, but get a cafe in there, depending on the location. But that's one of the ways, and essentially just look at different parts of your P&L and think of what you could carve out and cut down on potentially, or how you could grow sales and grow members. But yeah, I think like we came to the start of it, if you don't have the passion for this, or if you don't understand the business, if you've never been to a gym in your life, it's going to be really hard for you to turn this around, or have the interest in turning this around, because running a business is blood, sweat and tears. So the final question, would you guys buy this business? Why not?
I think this particular business, I'd say no. I just think there's like the balance sheet just doesn't feel comfortable. Like a lot of liabilities, commit assets, and there's a lot of loans in there. So there's a lot of work to get kind of clear those loans out if you're going looking to buy in this business. Look, I think there's good cash flow coming in. The 700,000 is not bad, but just so there's potential. But I'm just be worried about the balance sheet looks a bit. Yeah, just looks a bit messy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, shaky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have it's a maybe, but I'd need to get more clarification questions on it. Like, I don't understand enough about the loans to come back and say, like, what's going on. Okay, if these are somewhat personal loans, the director's just trying to figure out himself.
Yeah.
If you can buy it without that stuff, happy days. But if you need to keep it in, then yeah, it would be an ideal.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what sort of interest rate he's paying himself as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the complication with this, right? A lot of business owners mix their personal stuff in this. Like they'll have a car for the wife, or certain loans they're paying for something else, all tied up in the business. And so when you look at the face of this, sometimes it's a bit confusing. So yeah, totally get it. I would be leaning towards a no as well, based on the surface level information we've gotten. One of the reasons is, I think just some of the stuff just doesn't make sense, particularly the cost to run the business, the labor cost particularly. One of the reasons you would buy a business is you'd want to at some point be a bit more hands-off. Not saying you'd want to do that straight away, but you don't want to buy a business and walk yourself into another job. So that's probably one of the only reasons I would say no.
Good stuff. I think it's spending time with the data, right? Like, and like getting more operational data as well. I think financial statements tell you one thing, but getting the actual hands on those operational data will make a big difference when you're making those final calls. So, yeah. Good times.
So then, say we look at this, but say now we're starting fresh. Say, for example, we're going to start a new gym. What would you look for when it comes to, especially when it comes to gym, like where would you want your gym to be located? Do you want it, say, like showing a shopping center? Do you want it sort of away from part of the residential areas? Or what do you think is the best place for a gym, I guess?
I think you'd want it in close to a residential area. So like you think about the reason people join gyms, it's convenient to get to, and it's something that prompts them into action. So you'd want it in a dense area. Would you guys agree?
Dense, not really. I'd want to go where the least is cheapest, to be fair, and the biggest factory. So like, I don't mind if a gym is a bit further, but it provides me with the right equipment, provides me where I've got parking, all that stuff. A really dense area, like I really struggle with like parking and a few other things. I find most people are generally okay to drive those extra 5 to 10 minutes to get to a nice gym that does very bespoke stuff, right? Like the UFC gyms, fighting gyms, heavyweight, like powerlifting gyms. People, they're not common gyms, so people are willing to travel a bit for them. Where it's cheaper, I'd go there. I'm not going to pay an arm and a leg because it's non-recoverable cost for me. Yeah.
Because we were talking about this the other day where I know there's a particular gym we used to go to where it used to be focused on bodybuilders and it just looked very like a warehouse sort of type of gym. But then I think as you know, people got moved in, it became a lot more fancy, a lot more presentable, and there's bodybuilders left, and it all of a sudden became just mums and dads, and you know, just kids coming through again. Like it changed the dynamics of the gym. So like that's important as well. Like you want to look at what area you're in, what's the best target market, and then focus your gym to get those people into the gym. So
what the niche is.
The equipment that you need, how you're going to present the gym. I guess that sort of stuff. Because some people, I mean, it's not something I like. This is about, you know, some people like the Instagram looking, you know, good looking gym, something like that. And I'm like, mate, just get in there, work out and get out. You know?
That could be the niche there, right? Like have a gym that's already got predefined tripods and stuff, right? Like that could be the market, right?
Correct.
So you don't need to walk around smacking, you know, like it's been a while since I've gone to the gym, so I'm unaware of all that sort of stuff. But you see it all the time, right? But if you have a gym that's already pre-set up like that, that could be the change, right? That could be that niche that people are after.
I remember back in my day, if you saw someone taking a video, you looked at like, who was this guy? It's like, but these days it feels like everyone's in the gym recording. So I don't know, things have changed, and I guess you got to evolve your business accordingly as well.
Yeah. You see a lot of these gyms around the eastern suburbs and beachy areas as well. They're very community based. Like they do a lot of classes and like they're very active on social media promoting the community more than their gym. And so people join the lifestyle and community more than so yeah, you're right. It's you understanding your area and catering towards that.
Yeah. And it's like, there's a certain time like where people go to, like if the times of use for your gym, let's say, you know, it's not going to be busy 24/7. So where you got a gap and you can then leverage the community for, let's say it's the morning time, you know, kids are out, everyone's gone to work, and you've got like a bunch of seniors or whoever that can actually use that gym. Why not go to that market, right? Give them discounted rates and apply and work, because now you've got productivity coming in that you didn't have revenue for before, and you can actually leverage that completely, aside from just sitting around paying staff members, not a whole heap, you know what I mean? Like,
that's right. Yeah.
So there's definitely heaps of things you can do. Just depends on how active you want to be in that market. So
sounds like a man in the professional services business talking about utilization and everything. That's true. Boys, any last words for business owners or accountants in this if they're looking to buy a gym before we wrap up?
I mean, just like any other business, I guess, you know, you want to make sure you're in a gym in any business where, you know, it is going to make a profit. Well, if you can't see that, then, and if you think you can't fix that, then don't jump into it. But yeah.
Yep. I don't have any last words. Ash, do you?
I was going to try to get like a gym pun, but I can't make one up. So I was like Kevin's.
You're going to have to lift your game, Ash.
Another rep, mate.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Our next episode will be around managing the gym and potentially gearing it up to its selling as well. So if you like that, subscribe so you can listen to that as well. And if there's any other industries you want us to capture, shoot us a note as well. Thank you for listening to the Ash, Hubert and Kevin pod. We are the Accountdads signing out.
Hey, like this episode? Follow our channel for all things finance and accounting for your business. Get in touch with us if you have any questions, and we may feature it on the pod.